Stand by, we're going live. My rotation is messed up. Well. Hey guys, so we got our orientation messed up. We're just gonna roll with it. Don't know what happened. All right, well, we're just gonna roll with it. Can you guys see me okay? Can you hear me okay? I touched the start button and I must have touched something I shouldn't have touched. But instead of messing with it, we're just gonna go like that. So, live from Tennessee, how you guys doing? Madam Mayor Therese is not with you this weekend. She's in Ohio and she's on vacation. So it's going to be First Mayor Dude. So I'm here with you today, and we're going to go over some of the things that we're doing here. And she's up in Ohio having a good time, visiting family. And can you guys see me okay? It's hard to see the chat because my chat went sideways and now I can't. We're just going to go with it. So we're learning here. Usually Madam Mayor sets a lot of this stuff up. I set the part that is set up, I do usually, but it messed up on me. So I think I double touched something and it messed up. But hey, here we are. We're in Tennessee, and hey, it's been dry and hot here and very humid. And we're finally getting some rain. We got a little bit yesterday, and it's been raining for about the last hour or so, I would guess. So it's much needed rain. We needed it, and it's good because I mowed the grass yesterday, so it's right on time. That's what we got going on. So we got a few projects going on. There were some things that I should have received in the mail that I did not. So I had to go back through Amazon and request that it get resent. So I had to get credit, reorder. I touched base with the post office, and they don't know, it's not there. It was last scanned at their location, but no one has it, so we just had to reorder it. So a lot of the projects are in that package because I'm putting up an off-air antenna for the TV. I need antenna brackets. There's some other things in there, and I need all those things to get those things going. Most of it was connectivity stuff. So, but we do have the Wi-Fi. We have that going. We did get a television, and right now to get local channels, because I'm a Braves fan, so the Braves, I don't subscribe to any pay packages, so I get to maybe catch a game once in a while. But local Fox comes out of Huntsville, and they do broadcast the Braves games out of Fox. Some places are blocked from that, so I guess I'm just far enough from Atlanta and just close enough to Atlanta that we're in a broadcast area and we're not blocked. So I was able to see the game, but in order to do the antenna, because that antenna hadn't come yet, I had some RG6 cable. I split the ends and I ran it out to the camper, and I have it spliced into the receiving antenna on the RV, and I get 36 channels. So I'm pretty happy with that. And the RV is actually sitting below house level. So when I get that new antenna, it's going to be another 20 feet higher than where it is. So I'm sure the signal is going to be great. So I'm looking forward to that. My cousin, if she's in the chat, I don't really know. I can't see the chat. It's leaning sideways. So, but if she's in the chat, she's like, why don't you just subscribe to a channel? You're such a cheapskate. Why don't you get YouTube TV? And I've looked at all of them, and they're all around $75. Because here's the main thing. I want a value for my dollar. So if I'm not watching a lot of TV, I seem to be watching a lot of TV this weekend because Therese isn't here, but normally that's not going to be the case. This was a homestead for us to set up and then do our travel. So we still want to do the travel. She has to go to Ohio and procure a few items that we left there. And I decided to stay here. So at the same time, I can run down to Lower Alabama, Montgomery, the storage unit, and get those items there and bring them back up here. If you remember, we had to store those things because it was overweighting the boat, and we think that in addition to the heat was blowing tires on that pontoon boat, because it has the little donut trailer tires about 12 inches, and we were blowing those 50 miles, 100 miles, it'd blow another one, blow another one. Only thing I can think of is maybe the weight was too much. I don't know. I can't guarantee that. It's all just a hypothesis. But we ended up having to get, like, I think we bought 4 tires altogether. So what's on them are brand new, and the spare is brand new. So we have some tires left over, and they made it up here without incident from the storage unit. So I'm thinking it just got really hot. When I was taking, when I took Therese to the airport, the Jeep temperature, now I know the vehicle temperatures can always range a little hot because the sensors are located in the, in the hood area. So, but I was getting 114 degrees under the hood. And I was like, holy crap, it's hot. So, yeah, we have a fan we can turn on, and it draws extra air through the radiator and keeps the engine cool. So the engine and transmission never got hot. It's just that the air temperature was 114 degrees. So I was concerned about it. And there was traffic, it was a bad time to go to the Nashville Airport. But the airport is actually a lot easier to navigate than the Orlando Airport. The Orlando Airport, I've never been through the Orlando Airport. Therese likes it because she knows it and she's familiar with it. But really what she likes about it so much is that when she's coming back and she doesn't have any baggage, she can exit through the arrival gate and get out and get right in the car. So she kind of cheats the system, if you will. She doesn't have to go down and claim her baggage and come out the arrival gate. She goes right out the departure gate that she went out in, and she likes that. So that's why she likes Orlando. So I think that's some bias. I think most people travel with baggage. So I never liked that airport. It's kind of hard to navigate until you get used to it. You got to read signs very quickly, and with traffic, you have to get over. Orlando's just a mess. So Nashville was much easier. There seems to be only one split when you're going into the airport, from what I could tell. Now, we only went once, so more on that later. But as you go in, it's arrival, departures, and they split one time, and that's it. And the arrivals are over here, the departures are over here, and it's real easy for the driver. Now, inside the airport, I can't speak to that. But outside the airport, it was much better for people driving, because you drive in, you drive out, and the way you exit is not the way you came in. You come in from, coming in from this direction, we were going I-24 north, and it puts you on 40 east for a very short time, maybe a mile or two, and then it puts you right into the airport exit, and then it splits twice, and you're right there. And so then when you exit, you come back around, everybody merges into one lane. That's like, actually, it's about 3 lanes, and it gets down to 1 lane. Then there's a right turn. You come to a light. You got to go left or right. It's the only way out. You go out. It takes you back over to 24 after about 3 lights, and you're back on your way. So I think the travel from the interstates to the airport, it's much more expedient than other airports I've been in. And guess what Tennessee doesn't have also? There are no tolls. You go to Florida, there's tolls everywhere. If you're south of Orlando plus Jacksonville, everything's a toll road. So it didn't matter if you were going to Tampa, you could opt to use the toll road. It's much faster, you're saving time, but you're paying more money. The same thing going to Orlando, you're on the toll road again. Yes, you can go around the toll roads, but you're going to spend more time and money and gas. No, it's just not worth it. So you don't need a sun pass in Tennessee. No tolls. So that's great. Couple things we got going on, projects. I got a guy coming tomorrow. He's giving me a quote, and we're going to run with it. And he's coming. He's looking at the garage. If you remember, the main door is 10 feet high, and our garage is 11 foot 4 inches high. So he's going to put, I think, it might be an 18-inch panel in there, just high enough so the RV can be parked inside the garage. That's what we wanted. That's kind of why we wanted to get the property that we did. It was location. It was also based on the shop, the big shop that this place has. The house was secondary. Now, as we've been staying here, we've kind of fallen in love with the house too. I mean, it's a little cabin. It's cute. It's got a lot of little funky features about it. Like it has a side door and a back door, but it has no front door. Kind of quirky. It's weird, but I like it. It's okay because all your traffic really is going out the side door, and really you use the back door a lot too to go out on the porch. But if you're not going out on the porch, your in and out traffic is your side door. And so when I was first looking at this property and looking at this house, I just couldn't get the orientation in my head. I'm like, there's no front door, or they're calling this the front door, but it doesn't go to the front. So it was very confusing. So anyway, it's straight in my head. We got it now. We like it. It's the perfect size. We did recently get some furniture. We found a guy who's super nice. Everybody we run into here is super nice. We ended up talking a couple of hours to him, whether it's, at a yard sale, or this was a guy's house. He was doing a fix up house. He'd been here 19 years, I believe he said. And he's moving to Florida. He's not sure exactly where, but he's probably going out in the Panhandle. And he's just looking to buy investment property, and he's very handsy. He's good at rebuilding, framing, sheetrock, roofing. He can do it all. And we saw an example of that at his house. He's not finished up yet, but he was a great guy. Very nice, very genuine. And one of the few people on Marketplace, when you say, okay, I'm interested, I'd like to come, give me an address, that actually responds and says, okay, here's the address. See you at 10. Boom, I'll be there. And it's easy peasy, in and out. Everybody's speaking true language, and everybody's on point, on the same page, and you don't have all these games and people not like. There was a jet ski I looked at. I booked it. It's a good price. It was an older guy, so I'm thinking this guy hasn't ridden this jet ski in a while. I'm interested in it. But he took 3 days to respond. So by the time he got back, he says, I was out of town. Sorry, I didn't reply. I'm like, just because you're out of town, that doesn't mean you can't reply. So I kind of called him out as being rude. I've already moved on to something else. And now he's like, well, I wouldn't sell to you anyway. I'm like, why are you getting like that? I'm only saying that if you got something on Marketplace, be attentive to it. Because people, when they find it, and they're kind of impulse buyers, they want to come now. They want to look at it now, or at least within a day or so, be reasonable. And, they want to know. They want a decision. Either buy it, not buy it, move on to the next one. Don't waste people's time. You're really wanting to see this jet ski. You're kind of planning your day around, okay, when he says he's home, I want to run over there and get it. So you're kind of waiting a little bit for him to reply. And then you just kind of forget about him because he's not replying. And then after 2 days, no response, you're almost kind of upset with the guy for not, at least responding. Being out of town is no excuse. So I'm out of town here to all you guys. So we're talking, right? So I don't understand excuses. Anyway, so that's what we got going on. We did buy from him. We got, I'm scared to touch the camera, so I'm not going to show them right now. I do believe we've made a video on them anyway. I don't know that we've released it yet. We have a 3-piece sectional couch, and then a 2-piece love seat with a centerpiece with the USB ports and cup holders and whatnot. All 4 positions recline, and then one position, the center position on the couch, does not recline. So kind of basic. They're real nice quality, though. Real good leather, studded fronts, got the big studs on it. They're heavy. They were hard to get in here. They were heavy. I had to figure out how to take them apart, but the backs actually, like others I've done, they pull off with a little encouragement. They'll pop right off, and then you'll have to tip them in to get them in the door. And I just solicited some help in the neighborhood to help get them in the door. So the neighbors are great. I just flagged somebody down that's walking by. I was like, hey, can you give me a hand real quick? And they're usually more than eager to come over and help. So I don't have to worry about them casing my house, because the house that they live in is probably nicer than this one. So just saying. So we also got 2 end tables. They're heavy wood. They got like in the center, they got like a tile built into the table. So they're really nice. They complement the area. 2 lamps, matching lamps. They're nice too. And then there's a coffee table that's heavy. Like I can't even lift it by myself heavy. I can slide it, but it has compartments. It's solid. The thing probably weighs 80 pounds by itself. But the table opens. The centerpiece unlocks. It actually has a latch on it. you open it, and then the two left and right panels slide open, and then inside there's a hidden compartment you pull out, and you can hide something in there. There's also a drawer, and then a secondary hidden compartment under the drawer. It's really crazy, but it's kind of cool. So unorthodox type pieces of furniture, but I like them. So we're coming along, making this a homestead, and hopefully when Therese gets back, we'll be ready to set up an adventure. We really want to go to that I can't remember the name of it, but several people have mentioned it in the it's an underground cave with water, and there's a boat that travels in the underground cave. So that'll be cool. So we want to check that out. I don't know if that's the next place we're going, but we want to check that out. We also want to go to Ark Encounters up in Kentucky. We want to see that. The Corvette Museum. I've been to that before, but since it caved in, they've redone it. I haven't been since then. There's still some bases we haven't visited. Fort Knox is in Kentucky. We'd like to maybe visit that fan camp, check it out. It looks like it's pretty nice online. I think it's Carlson. Is it called Carlson Campground? I can't remember. But anyway, so there's lots of areas that we want to check out, not only here in Tennessee, but there's 8 bordering states, and you can get to any one of those 9 states in one day. Like from here to St. Louis is less than like 6.5 hours. So you can really travel far on the map from here because of its central location and the state being kind of narrow and long. If you're traveling north-south, you can cross a couple states in a day. Going east-west, you might get to one state. But so that's kind of why we picked it. We picked it because you can get to places. Plus, we also like living here. We're actually on a dead-end road. It's probably about 5 miles long, but we're near like the end of a dead-end road. So you don't get a lot of through traffic, except maybe on the weekend, because most of these homes are second homes for people. So they just come on the weekend, and by Sunday and Monday, they're gone, and the whole week is nice and quiet. The people here say go out on the lake when, during the week, there's nobody on it. If you go on the weekends, like this weekend's Labor Day weekend, it's busy because I can hear the jet skis out there running around. So it's busy. And I did bicycle down to the boat ramp yesterday, and I wanted to see how those hills were. A couple of them are pretty gnarly. It's first gear, and you're huffing and puffing when you're at the top. It takes you about 5 minutes to catch your breath. So I wanted to see how steep that was on the bike, and they're pretty steep. But down at the boat launch, I hadn't seen many boaters down at the ramp, but yesterday there was about 4 trailers and then 2 extra cars. So there was like six spots taken up out of maybe 12 or 15. So there's a little bit of use on them. Now, a lot of these homes have their own private boat docks and boat launches, so they may not use it, but we use it, and it's a nice asset to have. It's a nice perk. Some other things we're working on, lighting. The cabin is very dark. If it wasn't for this nice light right over the desk here, you probably wouldn't even be able to see me. But I've got 3 lamps on in the room. I've got some LEDs that are on the area of the kitchen that suspends from the roof. So that puts out a lot of light. So we've had to hang a lot of extra lights, and some of them are just kind of really specific, like under counter lighting, and they have separate switches. And then the overhead light is on a house switch because it's on a switched outlet that's above the kitchen. So we have that on a house switch, so it works nice. There's still lighting that needs to be done. The upstairs has hardly any lighting, but we don't really use it much upstairs. We do have a bed that came. In fact, that came with this furniture purchase. He was offering that bed. I think it's a queen with the mattress and box spring and everything. Now it's older, but that's okay. It's just for a guest area upstairs, which, we don't get that many guests, but you do want to have a place in case you get a guest. So that bed was $50. How can you beat it? $50. You can hardly buy an air mattress for that. So, yeah, we're really enjoying it. We like it. It's very quiet here. You can sleep forever, so you got to set an alarm clock or you won't get up. What else we got? So, yep, Therese's on vacay, as we mentioned. I'm going to pull the camera down real quick, and I want to read some of your. I might be able to read them on the computer. Hold on just a second. Let's see if I can't get to the chats. No, it's not going to come up. I'm logged out. Let me see if I can read some of these chats real quick. You can look at my ugly mug. which is the top light. Yeah, I normally don't talk a whole lot because, I mean, really, whose channel is it? It's Madam Mayor's channel. So I'm just kind of the supporting dude here. And my technical, I'm tech savvy, but I haven't really dove into YouTube and all the little intricacies with that. I can set it up and that, but I haven't done thumbnails. I haven't done editing. So she does all of that. I want to be more helpful in that. I just, when you're traveling, you're driving, you're doing other things, not trying to make excuses. Believe me, after this weekend's experience, when she gets back, I'm going to get more savvy on this so I can maybe help her with some of the editing, because that's the part. She's gotten good at it, but that's the part that's real tedious and it's not much fun to do. And I hate putting that on her because it is a lot of work. I see Robert from Danville here. How you doing? Oh, I was sideways? This was sideways? Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll just hold it like this then. How's that? I'm sorry that messed up. When I hit the go live button, I must have touched the screen a funky way and it spun around on me. But we're going to be okay. We're just going to do it like this. I'm ex-military. We just, keep going forward. Yeah, it's messed up, but we're just going to keep going forward. I'm going to scroll back in the chat here to the top because I haven't seen any of this. And just see if we've got a whole bunch of chats. Thanks, guys. I don't even know how many are in the chat. Looking here real quick. Oh, yeah, everybody's saying I'm sideways. Sorry about that. I scared some people off. Very sideways, very sideways. That's funny. Yep, Teresa's having fun. I know she went on a tubing expedition yesterday. I think it was a tube, might have been a kayak. She sent some pictures, so that'll be good when she brings that back. Everybody's saying I'm a little sideways. That's funny. I could probably go in there and fix it, but I really don't want to mess it up. Postal Service is horrendous in Tennessee. I don't understand it because I got a scan that said received in the town that we live at the servicing post office. And then 8 minutes later, well, at a certain time, it says it was handed off. So it was either Amazon or UPS handed it off to the post office. That's very common. And then they let the post office deliver it the rest of the way. And so they handed it off at like 5:30 in the morning, like 4 days ago. And then 8 minutes later, they received it, a scan receiving it, but then nothing after that. No delivery, no out for delivery, no delivered. So even if it got misdelivered, you would have gotten a delivered scan. But yeah, nothing. So even Amazon reached out to me and said, hey, if you don't see this by tomorrow, we'll refund you. Go ahead and reorder. So I did. So that's what's happening with that. Some people said sideways isn't an issue. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm sorry this happened, but things happen. But we almost canceled this live because I'll tell you honestly, we were trying to set up StreamYard and we'd never done it before, and we were having some issues getting it set up. Apparently, you have to link it to the YouTube account, and that takes some time, and then you have to wait for them to link. And then I linked the wrong email to it. We almost had it. We were about that close. But then I had the wrong channel. So it wouldn't have worked. So we just boycotted it. We were both getting kind of frustrated on both ends. And then I did a phone a friend, tried to get some help, and we worked through it and around it and just decided, hey, I'm just going to, Therese can set up the thumbnail and the live from her phone, and then I can access it from my phone. And that's usually what we do here anyway. So that's what we did here. So at least we had a live going and we didn't have to cancel. So technical difficulties, my fault, I own it. Should have been a little more proactive, a little more tech savvy. And we'll get that figured out. And next time maybe we'll have that done. Everybody's still saying I'm sideways. All right, I'm going to skip down to the bottom here and see what I'm missing. A lot of you guys in the chat, thanks for joining. We appreciate you guys spending some time with us. 473 in the chat. Okay, thank you. Flippin' Adventures in the chat. Looks like there's a lot of chat with her. Hi, Flippin'. What the hells? How you doing? Am I doing a lot? Oh, what the hells are you doing a lot before the auction? 503 in the chat. Okay. We'll work with that. I'll just continue to hold this so I'm not sideways. We do have some mail. Let's see. I'm not sure how we want to do this and hold the phone, but we've got mail. So we're going to do some mail real quick. We'll try to do it one-handed. How about if I set you down and pick you back up? Hold on. How about if I just put you sideways for a minute? We'll just do some mail sideways. Y'all want some sideways mail? Or maybe if I do it like this, it'll be right side up. Sideways mail. We'll just do some sideways mail. So here we got something from Brenda Watson. We thank you, Brenda, for the nice, what looks like a necklace. Therese has already seen this because we pre-opened some of these already. Slide up here. It might be sideways, but it's a heart. And you can open it, and the gold flakes that we got from the gold panning up in Fairbanks, so we're going to put them in here. I think that'll be cool. I'm just trying to hold it sideways so you can see it. And I'll just set that to the side. Another one from Brenda Watson from Chinkatink. I bet you didn't think I could say it, did you? Chinkatink. Hey, I'm from Virginia. I know how to say these words. They're funky. Just like Norfolk, not Norfolk. It's pronounced Norfolk, right? That's a little personal fan. Looks like it clamps on. Thank you. We can use this in various places. Appreciate that. Shout out to Brenda Watson once again. We thank you very much. And Madam Mayor, thank you. We wanted to at least get to the mail. Man, it's really raining. I don't know if you can hear it, but on this roof you can hear it. Oh, it looks like some icicle pops. Is that right side up? And this comes to us from, this is from Christy P. in Cincinnati, Ohio. Or do they say Cincinnati? My grandmother used to call it Cincinnati, Ohio, but that's an I, right? That's Cincinnati. Thank you, Christy, for the nice gift. We appreciate it. We'll be using that in this hot weather. Oh, we already did that one. Ooh, we got another little fan. I'm a fan of fans. Let's see who this is from. This is from George and Ellen Kincaid. Thank you, George and Ellen. We'll put that to good use. Appreciate it. Oh, I think all these are from George and Ellen. They all came in the same box here, so. I think this is an ice tray for being able to freeze make small, long ones that you can put in water bottles. I think that's what these are, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't read on this yet, but I think it's what it is. These are elongated, small ice tube trays. I appreciate it. We can definitely use those on those hikes when it gets hot. And this is some kind of, I don't know. Let's open it up and see. Whoop, drop part of it. Oh, cool. That's neat. It goes like in two directions. So I think it's a towel, like for hanging on a towel bar. Not really sure. There's two of them because I dropped the other one. They look to be identical. Very nice. And then I got one more. This is also from Christy P. in Cincinnati. I'm trying to see what this is. Oh, it's a 50 states photo map. So this is for traveling. Looks like it's in a tube. And it's a travel map. Oh, I know what it is now. Okay, so I'm not going to open it because it might just spring out everywhere. But this is for your RV. So it's a travel map of the United States, and you put the colored maps in as you visit each state. So a lot of RVs have this. I've had RVs with these maps on them. We don't have one on this new RV, so this is great. We'll go ahead and apply this, and this will be cool. And we got some states we can already fill out. So we're not going to put in states that we haven't traveled to together. We'll just put states we traveled to together. So that'll be our little photo map. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I'm going to grab this back so we're back to up and down and I can read your chats. Happy Labor Day weekend. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I know the screen went sideways on me. That's okay. We're still here. Still loving life. We did get a P.O. box in Tennessee, and the P.O. box number is in the bio. If you go to the bio, you'll see it listed there in the channel. Hand towels and ice tray. Okay, that's what I thought that was. Thank you. What else? Let's see. Some weather reports. Okay, so we're going to just move this part of the live to questions and answers. Do you guys have questions? Anything going on you guys want to ask? Ooh. I'm sure Therese is in the chat. I haven't looked. The chat's kind of hard to read when it's this big. We're making do. So Madam Mayor Dude is on the set today. My first time hosting this. Hopefully it's the last time. Because everybody likes when Madam Mayor does it. I like when Madam Mayor does it. Do we miss Florida? I can say she does not. She doesn't miss it one bit, and I will miss some parts of it. I'll miss the good friends that we met there. But by and large, oh, there's Therese. Hey, baby. PO Box 54. Thank you out. Thank you for that. Thank you for helping me out. I'm trying to shorten everything. Tullahoma, Tennessee. We do like Tennessee. It's great. It's been great. Everybody we've met has been helpful, supportive. If we had questions, they were, they even gave us opinions. It's been great. I'm glad at least Madam Mayor's in the chat, and I'm glad she can entertain some of your questions. If you have questions for her, she can entertain them in the chat. And she'll be back next week. And I'll be glad to see her. I know you will be too. Hope I didn't screw up the live too bad. Hey, at least we had one. We almost canceled. But we'll get those technical difficulties figured out with the StreamYard, getting those linked to the YouTube page. That's all kind of new to me. But hey, at least we didn't miss the live. Hello, Mr. Madam Mayor. Hello. Yeah, I'm better at the photography than the technical behind the photography. And I give a lot of credit to Jeremy with that. I went on a couple of things with him. I remember the safe auction, the safe storage unit we had to go get with the animal stuff, with the stuffed animals, and it was he was showing me how to video and don't look around the camera. You got to look through the camera, and I try to keep that in mind when I'm doing the filming. Are we going to visit the replica Vietnam Memorial in Perryville, Missouri? We may. I didn't know about it. Is that the one that moves around? Like it stays there for a certain amount of time and then they fold it up and they move it somewhere else, Joseph? I think it is. And yes, we would like to try to run that thing down when it's close. What kind of projects are you in the future? Well, we're still trying to establish here. I still need to do some. There's no electric. There's over to the garage. So I want to establish. I want to put an electric panel in there and run some power over to it. Right now, it just has an extension cord, so you can run the garage door and some lights that's over there. But so that's something I want to do. I've got some of the materials for that, but not everything. And I've got the guy that's doing the garage door is also. He's going to help with trenching, so we can trench a line. I've already gotten with the previous owner to find out what's underground there, and he says that's all clear. It's added topsoil or added top dirt, in this case clay and rock. So all of that, there's no wires or plumbing, and I won't disturb the septic system and all that when he goes to doing me a trench, and then I'll just lay the wire. No, I don't think I'm looking forward to that project. Actually, I like pulling wire. I enjoy hooking up electric panels. I can do everything south of the meter. Above the meter, I can't do that. So we've done a lot of that in the campground, and so we do know how to do it. Pretty good with plumbing also. Technical stuff on the computer with YouTube, not so much. But we'll get there. You can teach us old new tricks. You can. I just have to be shown how to do it. Yeah, I like when we're both together too. There was a plan to go to Ohio in the RV. And the plan kind of went back and forth, and I delayed a solid plan. It's not Theresa's fault. It's kind of my fault. But it is what it is, and she needed to get up there this week, I guess, due to the scheduling of the people she's visiting. And so we just decided at the last minute to just kind of fly up there, and you take care of that. And, at least during this time, I can get some stuff done here. It's only like a week, so we've done that before where she's gone up there for a week, and it'll be fine. I'm really hoping to get down to Alabama and get the rest of the stuff and brought back up here. That should be a one-day trip, but it's about 4 hours each way. So it'll be a long day. I'll pack a cooler. I'll hook up the Jeep to the trailer and just drive down and back. Oh, that's the plan. We don't have any other really major build plans here on the property. It kind of is the way I like it. We just need to get some power over there, some utilities, maybe some shelving. That's about it, really. Yeah, Timms Ford Lake. Yep, we're on Timms Ford Lake. A lot of people on Timms Ford Lake. Timms Ford Lake is pretty popular, and it's pretty splintered out, meaning that it's not a very wide lake, but it's very deep. It's like I had the boat out once, and I was getting depths of like 90 feet. Is that right? I was wondering if my fish finder was messing up or something. I was like, 90 feet. Holy crap. That's almost deeper than it is wide. But we haven't explored the lake much. We only went down 1 or 2 fingers of it and just kind of boated around, and we floated out in the middle, and we cleaned the seats because they were pretty mildewy from Florida. I'll tell you what, I was looking forward to moving to Florida when I got to Florida, and then hit the ground running. All I was doing was work in the campground. It was day in, day out. It was slave labor. I did not mind that. But then when it got to town council and all the shady stuff going on there, and then when they started targeting me, that's when I was getting upset. If they would just want, Russell could have stayed. We have said it numerous times amongst ourselves. And I'll tell you here, Russell could have still been in charge of that town hall. Nobody would have tried to overthrow the council or try to make the council better. He could have just had it. We didn't care until he started screwing people over. Like if they had just billed Jeremy for regular water usage like every other resident, he would have never done anything with town hall. But when you start to cheat somebody, it kind of makes you go, what are you doing? I mean, they're only trying to cheat him out of maybe $20 or $30, but it's the principle of the thing. And it was the same for us. Why are you pulling a permit that we've already got? We've already gone through this permit. It's already done. It's up, it's running, it's active, I'm working on it. And then you want to go backdoor me and make some phone calls, call in a favor, and get a permit closed down. So, yeah, I could have just ran the power. It was just one power pole. I could have ran that power without a permit. But, I like to do things the right way. I want that permit. I had it. There was no reason to take it. I was like, you know what, Therese, you need to get back on this board. Not only is it about the permit, but it's just about how the old board members were treating the people. The people, they weren't coming to the meetings, and that still continues. They don't really care about their town. The people, I'm not going to rehash all that. We just, when they started looking at me personally and attacking me with agencies, water management system, the Swanee Water Management, and the health department, when they start targeting me, then that's game on. Okay, I was in the military, just like Veteran Nation. He's a Marine guy. When you start targeting me, be ready. You're not just going to get, oh, well, that's always been that way, so it's just going to stay that way. No, it's not. It's going to change. If you wanted to do dirty, you should have just kept me out of your dirty and just kept doing your dirty, but don't involve me and don't target me. And I probably just would have let sleeping dogs lie. But you want to poke the bear, you're going to get the bear. And that's what you've done. So that's what happened. And that's how everything escalated. And that's how all this stuff about Otter Creek, they've always been dirty, but this is how stuff got uncovered, is because they poked the bear and the bear went looking. And the bear got hungry, and the bear started finding food. So what's the bear going to do? It's not okay to run a town hall like that. It's not okay. So I don't want to get off on a tangent. I'm just saying that's kind of a soapbox of mine. So I'll leave it like it is, and y'all know the rest. The rest is history. And yes, so I'm glad to be out of Florida, out of Otter Creek. Otter Creek's a mess. It's going to get fixed, but it's going to take longer than I probably have to live, and I don't want to live the rest of my life like that. There's just no way to live. There's better people. There's better places in the world to live, and I think we found a very nice place here. It's even surpassed our expectations as far as the people, the neighborhood, the community, the towns around it. It's just a really nice place. I would visit here if I was a tourist. I would come here and visit, and we feel like we're on vacation every day, living at the lake. It's nice. Now we haven't partaken in the lake a whole lot, just once, but we definitely see visiting the lake on a regular basis, and it's definitely a good place to be. It's awesome. Yeah, don't make veterans mad. Veterans have a can-do attitude. That's why they joined the military, because it's a selfless service. It's an all-volunteer service. All branches are all self-volunteer. There's no more what do they call it? Where they grab you like during Vietnam and you didn't have no choice. You have a choice. There's no more draft. There's what I'm looking for. So you're getting people that want to be in there. They want to be in there for a reason. For some, it was just they wanted the college money. For others, for me, it was kind of I didn't think I'd stay in there forever. I didn't know that I'd make a career out of it. I thought I would join for 3 years initially, and then they offered a bonus for a 4th year. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do 3. I'll go ahead and do 4 and take the bonus. I don't know what the bonus was, $4,000 or $5,000. So as soon as you finish basic training, you get to AIT. I think that's when it might have been after 1 year. I can't remember what the parameters were, but I also had a buddy and got him in, and so we went in. So I went in as like an E2, so I already had rank when I went in the military. And then, like, as soon as you got out of basic training, the A3, and then it's shortly after getting to your first unit, which is probably a year in after the initial training, and then your AIT phase of training, you're already at E4. So, I mean, you got a free place to stay. This is if you're not married, which I wasn't when I first went in. So you got a free place to stay. You got all the free food, 3 square meals, 3 good meals. Free place, yeah. I mean, what do you need? It's a good place to start. I think the military should be mandatory for at least all males over 18 should have to go do at least a 2-year stint. That's not, and you can pick any branch, Coast Guard, Air Force, doesn't matter. I think it should be mandatory. Other countries have that. There is a transition that takes place in a man. When you go through basic training, when you're putting your life, you're learning to put your life in your comrade or your battle buddy's hands. And you're trusting him with your life, and he's trusting you with your life. There's something to be said about that, and it changes a person. And it makes people do right and feel right, and it elevates people. It makes people better than what they were. And you can go to school at night. I did. It took me like 8 years to finish my bachelor's degree, but I did it all on the military's dime. I didn't pay anything for college. I did it all while on active duty, and I got my diploma before I got out. And then I went up through the ranks, and then I made it up to E6, a staff sergeant in the Army, and then I transitioned over to the warrant officer course, which you have to do an application. It's a pretty extensive application. In fact, I think the hardest part about the warrant officer school is really the application process. It's a lot because you got to get some other senior warrants to validate you, and they got to write letters of recommendation. You have to have up-to-date PT tests and weapons qualifications. But there's a lot to it, and a lot of those events are timed. And then you got to get your PA photo with your ribbons and your uniform, and all that has to be scheduled. All that has to be timed. All of it has to be in sync. Yes, my name is spelled B-R-E-T-T. And so all that has to go before a board up in the Pentagon, and they're the ones that select the candidates. And then guess what? You're all off to Fort Rucker, Alabama, Fort Mother Rucker. They've renamed it, but It's always football the record to me, and we've stayed there at that campground. We liked it. I think it's called Engineered Park or something like that. But it's 30 years since I've been there. I went to Warrant Officer Candidate School in '94. As soon as you graduate there, you get your dot, and then 2 years later, you get your W-2, and you're commissioned as a Chief Warrant Officer too. You're a commissioned officer at that point. And then about 5 to 6 years it takes to make W-3, and I made Chief Warrant Officer 3, and that's a DA appointment, and that's a field grade officer rank, is equivalent to a major. And then I was up for W-4, but I was also at the 22-year mark, and they had me going to Fort Carson, and they were deploying, and I had already been on like 3 or 4 deployments. I was done with deployments, and I was like, I had enough. I'm just going to stay here in Alaska, not interested in another deployment. So I got out and gave up W-4. Sometimes I kick myself, but things work out. I would have never met Therese if I had went on to be W-4. I would have stayed in another. There's a service requirement when you accept the next rank. I think it's a 2-year requirement. So you would have had to stay at least 2 years. And then retiring is not automatic. Twice I tried to retire. You have to request permission to retire. And the first time they said, all separations are frozen right now. We're not allowing any retirements. You're in a critical MOS. That's your job specialty. And they weren't letting me retire because they were considering my MOS to be critically short at that rank level. So that's funny. So I said, well, I denied W-4. If you don't accept it, you have 90 days. They have to process you out. So it's funny because on one hand, they're like, no, we're not going to let you retire. But since you're not accepting the next rank, we're going to kick you out. That's kind of what it felt like. So it's all right. It was planned. It was a plan to kick out. I was already at 23 years and a couple of months by the time you actually get out, because it has to go through the channels again. Approved, or in this case, a declination of the rank promotion, and that takes a month or two, and then you get a letter back, and then that takes another month or two. Things are faster now. I'm sure it's more streamlined now. But yeah, so that was my career. I was a supply systems technician, and I've always had what do they call it, secret or top secret background investigations in order to do the job that I do. As a commissioned officer in the military, you have at least a secret clearance. On a couple of tours that I did, they required a top secret. A top secret expires though, so if there's no need for it, it doesn't keep going. It's a 5-year, I believe it was a 5-year as a top secret. And a regular secret is good for 10 years, and then you have to renew it. And they go through an extensive background check. But even after I got out of the military, I still was a private contractor for maybe a year. And then I was a Department of the Army civilian for probably another 2 years. All of those require security background checks. So I didn't require a security background check for a job until I got to Otter Creek. And I had a campground, so no security check there. Anybody can own a campground, I guess, just put the money up. But, just like anybody can be a parent, right? There's no special test you have to take to be a parent. All it takes is an oops in the back of a Cadillac somewhere. I'm just being funny. Anyway, so yeah, that's, I don't know how we got off on that, but yeah. EMT, fire department, police. I did give the police department a thought when I was in Alaska. I had already gotten out of the military at that point. I think I was 38 when I was retired. And I'm thinking, man, am I too old? Am I too young? In Alaska, they send all police candidates down to Sitka, Alaska for the training. And I talked to several officers, and they're like, yeah, you should do it, There are a couple things I didn't like about it, though. You go down, I think it's 16 weeks, 12 weeks, don't quote me, I don't remember. But I wasn't concerned about the training. I think being prior military, anybody can knock the training out of the park. I think it's once you've done the training, you're still not hired. You go on a list, and then they promote off of that list. It could be another year, it could be 2 years. You don't know how fast that list expires. So you don't know when and if you'll ever get hired. You know, you need a job now. You quit a job to go do 4 months of training. You come back, now you don't have a job. That was a big problem for me. I had mortgages, I had car payments. So if it still works that way. Also, it's my understanding in Alaska, Fish and Wildlife and State Trooper are the same thing. They just change roles. I think they start you out as a Fish and Wildlife person. I'm trying to recollect. But I know when you're a police officer, they're going to send you out to a village first. Now, a village doesn't necessarily mean the same thing it does in Ohio. I think it's pretty cool. They call small towns connected on a road system a village. A village in Alaska is not connected to a road system. It's fly in only, it's boat in only, and that's it. And they're usually hundreds of miles apart. They're not close to each other. So when I visited Ohio and they call it a village, I was like, yeah, that's cute, a village. Anyway, that's a village over there, 300 miles over. So I did give it some thought. I thought being Fish and Wildlife might be fun. I also thought it kind of dangerous because as a village, what do they call it? A village police officer? I think it's a VPO. I can't remember what the acronym is. But you go to a village first for a year or two, and then they work you back into the major cities, Fairbanks, Anchorage, whatever you consider your hometown, Juneau, even though it's kind of isolated in Juneau, that's considered a big city. But you got to work your way in to get stationed where you want to get stationed. And so I had done enough of that remote stuff to last me a lifetime. But the bigger thing was when you finished training, you didn't have a guaranteed job when you got back. I mean, you're on a list. That's it. You just got on a list. So that was my hang up. I think the starting pay at that time was around $36,000, so it wasn't bad. I know that may sound high in some other states, but that's really not a lot in Alaska because it's very expensive up there. But I think it would have been another secondary career. I think it would have been a fun one. I think it would have been a challenging one. I don't know. We all make choices. I decided to move to Florida and buy an old campground and fix it up. And hey, what do you know? Got divorced there, got remarried. Have a great team member now. And we were talked into starting a YouTube channel, and here we are. We're in Tennessee. Life happens fast. So if you want to do it, go out there and do it while you still can. And that's what we were told. You're going to travel. You need to get to traveling before you hit 60 or 70 because then it can be too late for you to travel. So that's kind of what we did. It's like, you know what? They're right. We need to do this while we still can. And we can afford to do it. So what's holding us back? We don't need to work. Let's go. So that's what we did. I kind of like watching Therese's name in the chat. I think it's kind of cool. She's moderating her own channel. Hey, so this was kind of fun. But hey guys, unless you got something further, I get kind of chatty on here. I didn't mean to do that. I just didn't want to have to cancel the live. So I'm glad we had fun with it. I'm glad you guys joined us and you got to talk to Therese in the chat, and she'll be back next week. We'll be doing our regular thing. What is that? Would you please set your camera down? Oh, well, I can't really. It's got a microphone piece in it. If I set it down, I'm getting ready to log off here. So I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. I'm glad we were able to get to this chat. I'm sorry this got turned sideways, but we got through it. Recognize the people that bought us a few things. We thank you. We appreciate that. Hope for Therese's safe travel back at the cabin outside Tullahoma, Tennessee. And I'm going to go ahead and bid you guys farewell. Appreciate you joining. Thanks, guys.